Hello and welcome to 365 Days of Excelling with Clive.
This is day 35, and today we are looking at creating a dynamic drop-down list. So what that is, we want to be able to select on the drop-down list here, for example, finance, and be able to only see here on the list of employees, if I drop down here, only the people who are in finance department. Or if I select, for example, marketing, I should also be able to only see the people who are in marketing department here according to the list of departments here and list of employees per department here. So how can we create this dynamic drop-down list? To do that, we are going to use the skills that we have acquired over the last 34 days. And these are as follows. The first skill we are going to make use of is the unique formula. So we learned the unique formula in day 9. So we are going to use that skill. We are also going to make use of the data validation skill, where we learned how to create this drop-down list. That was in day 7. So we learned this in day 7 to create this drop-down list. And the last skill that we are going to use, which we have already acquired, is filter, using the filter formula to be able to filter an array. So this is the filter formula. Also, a new skill that we are going to use is array referencing. So what do I mean by that? For example, here, you can see that if I click in this cell, here where my unique formula is, you can see a blue line surrounding all this area. What is happening here? My formula is only in cell number 4, and these other cells, they don't have a formula. So if I try to add the formula, I cannot see a formula in the formula bar here, because they are getting their formula from a formula which is here, which is an array formula. So if I select this whole area, I want you to look at this name box here. Let me first select this area here. At the name box, you can see it just shows that I'm selecting from B4. If I select B5, it shows B5. If I select a range, it shows me that I'm selecting a range starting from B4, but it just says B4. But if I select the range where I have an array formula, like this, you'll see it will say A4 and a hash here. What it shows there is shows that I'm selecting an array. So this is an important skill because it's going to help us significantly in building this dynamic drop-down list. Okay, so we have a lot to cover, so let's get started right away. So step number 1 would be to create the list of departments. So we want to have a unique list of departments. But if you look here on my departments here, some of the departments are repeated. For example, finance is appearing 1, 2, 3, 4 times, 5 times. So I just want one finance to appear once here, human resource to appear once, marketing once, and so on. So how do I do that? I make use of a formula called unique. So we did that in day number 9. So what unique does is that it just says unique equals unique. Then you select the array you want to get unique values from. So here, because it's in a table, I can just go here or just on top of the table. Then where I can see the arrow pointing down here, that black arrow there, I can just then click once. Then it selects the range which I want to make use of and to get unique values. Then I close bracket. Then I press enter. So you can see this is how I got the list of unique values here. So I just replicated what I did here. So what we now need to do is to make use of this list of unique values and use it in step 2 here to then create a drop-down list. So how do we do that? I'll just create a drop-down list on the side here again. So you go to your data and you go to data validation. Then here under data validation, you select list. Then you select the source of your list. But you need to remember that because this is an array and it's going to be dynamic, we also need to reference to the dynamic array. So just as I showed you, if we are referencing to an array, we just say A4, then hash. That's where our array is starting from. Then we say, okay. So that if we do this, we can see that finance, human resource, IT, and so on, it's coming up. So if, for instance, we add a new department here, so a new department can be sales department, and we have Ben Carlson. So if I come here, I can see sales department is there now. So that's how I created this drop-down list. You can see the sales department is now showing. And also here, you can see that the sales is appearing here on my dynamic array. Okay, so this is how you create a drop-down list here for the department. Now, the last thing we need to be able to do is, once we select a department here, for example, we select finance, we want to be this list to give us the list of people who work in finance. And so that we can use it here, that list of people who work in finance. So how do we do that? We make use of filter. Previously, we just learned to do a simple filter. For example, if I want to filter this table based on the department name here, I can just say equals filter. A simple filter will just select the whole table. Then we say include. What am I going to include? I only want values where the name, so I just go on top and click here, where name is equals to finance, for example. Okay, then I close my bracket because the last parameter here, the if empty, is an optional parameter, so I can leave it out. So I just close my bracket at this point. So you can see here, I have filtered all my employees given that the department is finance. But here the problem is I'm getting also the department name, but on my drop down here, for my drop down, I just need the employee name. So what I can do is I can just do the same and say, okay, I want to filter. What do I want to filter? I want to filter this array. I called it numbers, but it's supposed to be members actually. So I want to filter the members. I want to include members only where the name or the department is, for instance, finance. Then I say is equals to finance. Then I close my bracket. Oh, my finance is not typed properly. It's supposed to be finance. Okay, so you can see I'm now getting the list of employees who are in finance department. Okay, so this is how I obtained this list here. Okay, now that I have this list here, I can now then use a dynamic referencing again, or dynamic array referencing, to then use that in step 4 here. So I can then, what I then just did is the same as step 2, except that I'm now using my starting point of the array as C4. So my referencing here should be C4 hash. So I'll use C4 hash here to create my drop-down list. Okay, let's see how we do that. So I'll then say, if I'm creating a drop-down list, again, under data validation, I go to list. Then I say source is C4, that's where it's starting. So my array is starting from C4. Then it goes on to wherever it gets to. So I just put hash to denote that it's an array being referenced. So it's supposed to be C4 here. Then I say okay. Then I can do my, oh, sorry, I'm supposed to say equals. Okay, let's just go back and edit it. We can edit our data validation and just say add an equal sign there. Then we say okay. Then you can see now it's giving me my employee names here. Okay. So that's how I got my employee names here. So the moment I select finance department here or sales department, I can see Ben Carlson here. And if I want to select here, I can only select Ben Carlson here. And if I select marketing, here I can see only marketing employees here. So this is how you can create a dynamic drop-down list. No coding is required. It's just purely the skills that we learned from day 1 to day 34. Okay, enjoy guys. Bye-bye.